Alright guys, welcome back. Happy Saturday to you all. We are continuing our world tour, so I bring up my charts here, out of Bali today into Darwin. We're finally reaching Australia. We're not going to get quite as far as the east coast of Australia today, but we will get to Darwin, and from Darwin I believe we will be going to the... What the heck just happened? It's like a ghost just went through me. I think that's like a weird, like, low-lying cloud layer thing, maybe? That was weird. Why can't I move? Oh, because I wasn't... Haha, yeah, that would help, okay. Anyway, that was creepy. Okay. We are going to, like I said, Darwin, Australia. Cargo is being loaded as we speak in the 747 freighter. We're right here alongside. This is the Colorado. Engines are windmilling a little bit in the weather here, and we're gonna get up and get going and get flying. So before we do that, let me say hello to all of you. See who we've got here. The very first one was Parth, also known as Captain Bonanza Man now. Chris D was second. I don't know what you're talking about with Central Time. I'm not going on Central Time. It's 10:21 a.m. here, Pacific Time. So yeah, I don't know what Central Time you're referring to. I understand it's noon Central, but I don't start at noon. I start at 10 my time. Anyway, TBM Life is here. Tim, Captain... Oh, you know what? And I forgot to turn on TeamSpeak. Sorry, guys. Captain Tim is here. TBM Life is here. Christian is here. Kreger's here. How you doing? DeRandom Cool Kid, good to see you. Kramer, good to see you. Rothmuller, you're back trying to hide in the wheel well this time. It doesn't end well. Just got the best idea. Troll moose to the best I can. Oh, goody. Yeah, that's a wonderful idea. Thank you, David. Oz Plays Games. Oz Plays, rather. Hello, sir. Hola to you. Let's see. Chimera is here. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but, you know, whatever. Roger's here. Good to see you, man. Pizza Pie Polly, how's it going? Still in Oregon. Be back on Wednesday. All right, well, good. You made it safely to Oregon. Hopefully you have a good flight back. Who heard about the yesterday, right after we got off stream? Apparently someone hijacked a Dash 8 out of Seattle and did some aerobatics and then nosedived it into an island. Like, what the heck? What the heck?
I heard about that.
Oh. I went back onto Twitch and ironically I just happened to pass upon a stream that had that. I honestly did not expect that.
Well, I don't think anyone expects it. That's why it happens. If we expected it, just like the Spanish Inquisition, then it
only
would
in
happen.
America at this point, right?
Not really. Not really.
They said that guy who flew the plane was like suicidal or something or whatever.
I'm sure he was. I heard some of the audio, and he's talking about how he's, you know, kind of depressed and a screw loose apparently, and yeah, I mean, you don't do that without an end game, and you know you want to live. It's kind of like a last hurrah. So either he was mentally unstable, and he probably was, even if he was depressed. That's kind of a mentally unstable thing, and probably more so. So go figure.
Well,
anyway,
of course. How'd you go?
Clayton, how's it going? And Kramer, what do you mean you can't connect to TeamSpeak? It's working for all of us. David's connected, although he's not. Well, I don't see him even in the lobby. I just see him. I don't see him. Period. So should be fine. Should be working. Anyway, all right. Let's get on board and get this thing started.
Alright, so real quick, obviously I'm not able to fly today. I might be doing a 7-hour flight from Amsterdam down to St. Martin if I get the 747 fixed. But still gotta do some fixes, aka some FSUI PC mods / deleting an INI file to fix my 7.4, because right now it still has that issue of having to nosedive to actually gain speed instead of climbing.
Alright, so we're going to get those all going and on. We're going to do a fire test here real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4 APU, good. Emergency lights can come on. We're on an external power and an APU generator because we needed that to open that side cargo door. It really should just be as long as you have two sources, whether that's external 1 and 2 or AP 1 and 2 should do it. But apparently the way they wired it with PMDG, it's got to use one of each, which is dumb. It's the same amount of power. Whatever. We're going to turn that to aux for now for brake pressure. Fuel pumps will all stay off at the moment. And that's yaw dampers are set on. Trim air is on. APU's running, so we'll go ahead and turn on our packs. That way we don't need the pack cart. Nav lights are on. Come down here and check our oxygen. Which, there we go. There we go. Our oxygen checks out. I already set up the panel lights. All these are straight up like they're supposed to be. APU is, or not APU, the FMC is spooling up. Just make sure that is reset appropriately there. We'll do our checks on that in a moment. Flaps are up, spoilers are down, fuel cutoff switches are cut off. We'll go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign to on. Rudder and aileron trim is 0. We're going to set this to, whoops, I'm going to set this to, no, that one, 22, and we're going to test the TCAS. The landing was interesting. It ended up being a bounce. The thing kind of it was weird. Like it was really nice approach, and then right at the end, it all of a sudden like we dropped. Like I don't know what it was. Like I think I was trying to stay on the I don't know, I can't remember if it was VATSIM. I think it was PAPI. The PAPI lights. And I've done that before where I kind of forget I'm flying the 747, so I'm up a lot higher than. And so I actually should be probably a little bit on the high side because of that. And so I think I ended up being lower than I thought I was. So all of a sudden it was like the threshold runway and it's going 10, 20, 10. I'm like, ooh. So we actually hit kind of hard and we actually kind of bounced back up because we were super light. So the first one was like a 500 rate per minute, 500 foot per minute touchdown. And then the second one was like 80. So, because then it was like all nice and smooth. So it ended up coming down okay. We didn't break anything, but it wasn't the best. It was stormy. It was, what it is. But I wasn't really proud of that one. So, but we got it on the ground. We got there.
Yeah, I had the exact opposite. Like I came in high, of course. I tried to pitch down a little bit more to catch on to the glide slope. Never did. Ended up just coming into the vicinity where I'm supposed to land, and then of course 747 thought just because I was like at a mid-range for heavy and light, basically it decided to float like nearly halfway down the runway and then down, and of course you know what that meant, full reverses and toe brakes on max. So yeah, maintenance had to go fix those brakes after that one.
Stick that there. Sorry, what was that?
Are there any planned stowaways?
Are there any planned stowaways? Is that what you said?
Yeah, like people hiding in the landing gear or whatever.
Well, they're never planned, otherwise they wouldn't really be stowaways, would they? They would just be...
I have moved my lawn chair into the wheel well.
Okay, well, you're going to get crushed by a bogey when it comes up, so just know that.
Security can inspect the aircraft before to note that, so if you try to sneak on board, you're not going to get on board this time.
Exactly.
Moose?
Yes?
Yes?
I think I ordered a lawnmower and it should be on this plane. Can I go, after we finish loading cargo, can I go back in the hold and look?
Nope, once it's in my aircraft, it's under my control. You're going to have to wait till it gets delivered. Apparently I ordered a lawnmower to Darwin, I'm not sure why.
Can I try and start it if I find it?
Absolutely not. That would be a violation.
Unless you want to try to some metal, which is undoubtedly going to break your lawnmower, then attempt for it.
What did that say?
No, but it's like one of those push mowers.
Push mower? That's like, why?
Why are you taking that in a long haul to Australia from here?
No, the
reason why it's going to...
Why would you want a push mower? Like, let the mower do the work for you.
No, the reason why it's going to Darwin is I ordered it on Amazon and this was the cheapest one. So the guy said he lives all the way in Bali. So it's going to Darwin and then from Darwin to California and then from California to over here.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm just looking at my flight plan right now to see. Here's what we're doing, guys. We're doing obviously Bali to Darwin. Our alternate today is this guy. It's actually a military base. It's Tyndall, just kind of southeast of Darwin there. But we're going to be taking runway 9 as of right now, as that's what SimBrief gave me, and I'll check that with the weather here in a second. In fact, Tim sent me the weather. Let me just look at what that was here. Yeah, 110 at 13, so yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So we're going to be doing that. We're taking the Walia, or the Wali 2 Alpha, or whatever that is, to Gabit, the M766 to Idoto, UY91 to Donia, and then the Donia 7 uniform arrival into Darwin, and that's what the path looks like there on the map. So we'll skirt the lower part of the island here, right over whatever island this is. Is it labeled? Not really. Yeah, something I can't pronounce. And most of it is going to be over the ocean, and then we'll kind of angle down here into Darwin. And we're expecting runway 11 into Darwin. We'll see what changes, if anything, when we get there. So that's the plan. We're going to be flying flight level 330 today. We got an airtime of about 2 hours and 12 minutes roughly. Block fuel called for 92,547 pounds. We rounded that up to 94,000 pounds. And we're taking 247.3 thousand pounds of cargo. Our reserve fuel today is going to be, looks like, what is that, 31.1 roughly. So 31.1 on the reserve, and we're already filed on the network, so that's all good to go. All right. Yeah, I saw the message, Pete Spy. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I scrolled up. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. By the way, guys, just to save radio space, you don't need to say "Hey Moose" every time you're gonna talk. Just talk. By the time I kind of get to know you, I know your voice anyway. I know who it is, so it doesn't require me to say yes again. As long as I'm not in the middle of a long tirade, just go ahead and talk. If I need to stop you, I'll cut you off real quick. But so just be sensitive to that. But otherwise, just talk.
You're lucky I'm not in the wheel well this time.
Why am I lucky for that?
Well, then again, you know how the first officer does his walk around at the aircraft? Well, we have extra security on board for this payload today, so once again, we're inspecting that aircraft until Mr. Juan gets us going.
Hey, Moose, I'm hiding in one of the pallets.
That's your loss when I turn the packs off for the freighter area. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing well. Just having a good old time with the 727 V3.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I can't. I think when I get to my new place, that's one of the first things I'm gonna pick up and start playing with, because that looks like just way too much fun.
How's it going?
It's going well. Stuff with my car is being figured out, so it's just a waiting game now. It doesn't go into the shop until the 20th because they were a little backed up, so I've got a rental for now, and so yeah, things are. Why is that not going in there? DONYOYA. So things are going well. The move stuff is proceeding. There's still some questions on the move side because I guess the roommate that's still here, one of them moved out already. The one that's still here, I guess, talked to the landlord, and there's a possibility he might be staying for at least another month or possibly longer. And so that's kind of screwing up my plans of him getting out so I can clean everything. And which, if he stays, then that's on him anyway, so it really doesn't matter to me. But I just would like to know so I can plan. So that's all supposed to be completely in stone by the 15th. it may be in stone earlier than that because he's kind of made a decision, but he's waiting to hear back from the landlord whether he accepts that. And if he does, I'm just waiting to hear if that happens. So it's just a bunch of balls in the air, and I'm trying to, you know, keep going in one direction. But overall, it's doing well.
Why is it in stone? Why not something like granite?
If you know, Mr. Chemistry over here, granite and stone are the same thing. Granite is a stone. Stone is a generic term.
I'm going to run down and get my chemistry book, and I'll tell you more chemistry background.
Oh, goody.
Well, alright, so anyhow, of course, after that whole, what was nearly a catastrophe trying to fly that 747 at night with a bunch of, air traffic control online, essentially ended up, like I said, landing in Jacksonville with kind of giving maintenance a little hard time. Decided after that to watch some real 747 pilots up the PMDG, and apparently so, one of the things I did do was leave, one generators, preferably the APU Gen 1, on. Leave one avail light on for the cargo, essentially because for the cargo one, apparently so they say, if there isn't any avail light on the right side for the generators, the cargo door will not open or close.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I just got done talking about in the beginning here. You have to have external source and an APU source to open the side cargo door.
Well, they just do it, but, you know, mainly just
yeah.
Okay. Anyhow, so essentially I was looking through what the real 747 pilot did, and he does kind of go a little bit more in depth. I mean, obviously he flies the real thing as a first officer, so you know all the procedures. So, I mean, he goes through like some stuff that takes a little bit longer, and oh my, I could tell you that 747 it takes a little while to get done while they're doing their walk around.
Yeah.
In terms of FMC.
All right, V1 today is going to be 139, VR 154, V2 169, and trim is going to be, drumroll, 6.2. It's usually right around 6. That makes sense. Okay. So we'll set 169 plus 15 up here. Which is 184. The heading for the runway, which we're taking off on runway 9, is, once it comes up here. Oh, you needed to update TeamSpeak. All right, that makes sense. 87. So set 87 in the heading window. 87. And let's see, for our departure, we are taking the Wallet 2 Alpha. Gotta find that. A wallet. Okay, there we go. That's what it is. It always cuts off like the last letter there, so you're never sure what it's referring to. Okay, so the Wallet 2 Alpha is basically straight out departure to Bawal. It's almost straight out. It's 8.6 instead of 8.7. And we got to be at Bawal, however you say that, at 6,000 feet, hard altitude. Then we're going to turn right to Kodot and be at 11,000 feet when we cross Kodot. And then Dambo at flight level 245. Well, that's an interesting one, really. 245? Okay. It's like flying in Russia. And then from there, we're taking, we're going to Wallet. Oh, no, we're not going to Wallet. We're going, where are we going? We're going to Gabbett, which is not, that's interesting. Oh, to Gabbett, there it goes, okay. So yeah, so we're going to Wallet and then Gabbett, that makes sense, okay. All right, initial altitude, if anything, let's see. Yeah, initial climb is just up to, because it's all hard altitude, so it's 245 is the final until we reach. So we got to set that there. 24. Oops, too far. There we go. 245. It's a weird one, but okay. No speed restrictions on the release aside from standard. Transition altitude is 11,000 feet. So let's set that right now. Down here before I forget to do that. Let's see. Unless I remember where that is at. No. Performance. Oh, it's just in here. There you are. 11,000. Stick that in there. Good deal. All right. And let's get, we have the initial weather. I'm going to get the ATIS on my side. Just make sure I've got the correct altimeter setting. 122. Make sure I write it down correctly this time, unlike yesterday, apparently. AJ's yelling at me that I'm off by 3, and I was. All right.
Whiskey, Romeo, airport information, Echo 1700, Zulu, weather, wind 109er, at 12, visibility 10, sky condition 1700, scattered temperature 26, dew point 22, QNH 1012, advise on initial contact, you have information, Echo.
What?
Whiskey, Romeo, airport information, Echo 1700, Zulu, weather, wind 109er, at 12, visibility 10, sky condition 1700, scattered temperature 26, dew point 22, QNH 1012, advise on initial contact, you have information, Echo. Whiskey, Romeo.
Okay, well, there must be another airport right here, because he's calling it Whiskey Romeo. We're at Whiskey Alpha Delta. I'm going to double check my active sky weather here real quick, just make sure I didn't screw anything up. No, I got it right. So yeah, it's just the station. Yeah, station is Whiskey Romeo. Shared by duplicate station. It even says that. Okay, cool. All right, good deal. Just want to make sure. Your different station identifier. Got to perk up. So it's saying 109 at 12, which is pretty close to what Tim was saying, 110 at something. So that's basically the same thing. Visibility 10, 1,700 scattered. Temperature 26, dew point 22, and altimeter 1012. Which is 1 off. There we go.
And I'm ready to push when you are, Moose.
All right, I'm going to be ready very, very shortly. In fact, I think, is our cargo finished loading? Yes, it is. Okay. So let's go ahead and close our doors, and then we'll call Juan to get his butt over here. Menu, FS actions, doors, close, close, and close. Because we've got to wait for that side cargo to go before we do that. I'm going to say request departure. And we're going to go nose to the left. No.
Leave the cargo doors open.
No, I'm not leaving the cargo doors open. Okay. I'm going to bring the beacon on right now. Because we're about to push. And the cargo doors are closed, so we'll send the ground cart away. And we're going to remove the wheel chocks.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Fantastic. External power should go out here in a moment as he gets away. He's taking a sweet time.
Ship support.
Alright. What toast did I have this morning? Standard toast. I don't know I don't understand what special about it. Just toast. Toast with some cinnamon sugar. Okay, to work.
And chocolate milk.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Parking brake.
All right, parking brake release.
Push. All engines clear. Start that wheel.
All right, we are pushing.
I'm on the push.
Fantastic. All right, just double checking these things real quick. Yeah, okay, good. All right, let's go ahead and fuel pumps coming on. 2 packs going off, starting 3 and 4. And we'll turn that to off.
Well, TeamSpeak had to break for a second for me because yeah, I couldn't get voice or send voice on my end, so I had to restart it. But I'm back.
Okay. No French toast. That's a whole different type of. That's like a. That's much more involved than just sticking it in the toaster. All right.
Yeah, and by the way, today ground crew is reminded to put more food on board for captain. So
too late for that. We're pushing.
I'm stealing the food.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Oh yeah, we finished our security walk around. I believe there was one person in the gear. We got him out, but I don't know if they snuck into somewhere else. I can't assure you of that.
Kind of
I'm hiding in one of the pallets.
Yeah, we only get paid $1 per hour. That's what you get.
Oh, gosh.
AP3D.
All right, we got 2 good starts on 3 and 4. Let's go ahead and start 1 and 2. And what brand of chocolate milk? I don't buy it. I make it. I mean, I make the. I mix it myself. It's Nesquik with milk.
Great value brand.
It's delicious. That's all I care about. Sour grapes. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Just a reminder, guys, starting next week, we'll be streaming exclusively on Twitch due to affiliate status there. So if you haven't already, get an account with Twitch so that way you can watch live when we do that. We will post the videos to YouTube after the fact, but they will not be broadcast live on YouTube. So just be aware of that. We got light up on 1 and 2.
I made a Twitch account, but I still haven't followed the Flying Moose.
Well, you've got another few days to do that.
By the way, his account is named Mustafa, not the Flying Moose.
Yeah, the Twitch account has a different name because the Flying Moose was not available when I had signed up for that account back then. So, I believe the MD-80 is probably Tim. I think he's probably actually flying the 727 though, and that's just what it's showing him as.
Yeah, I'm in the 2700.
Yeah. So, all right, those are coming up. Good. We got 2 good starts on 1 and 2. We'll put the packs back on there. We'll turn the other fuel pumps on. We do not need the cross bleeds because we're under 120. So those can go off. Fuel tank to engine warning goes away. Fantastic. Bring the flaps down to 10 for takeoff. And auto brakes to RTO. And set transponder. This is a cargo flight, yes. No more YouTube for the flight videos. I probably will do YouTube streaming for when I do like American Truck stuff like that. Probably. So I will show YouTube some live stream love occasionally. I just can't stream to Twitch and YouTube simultaneously anymore because if I stream to Twitch, it has to be exclusively to Twitch. That's what's prompting this. So I do want to build my Twitch presence, and in order to do that, I have to stream to it. And when I'm streaming to it, I can't stream to YouTube. So it's just that's the nature of it. I thought I didn't have that problem until I hit partner on Twitch, but apparently that is not the case. So no, restream works. It's not a restream issue. It's a Twitch rules issue. So. Yeah, YouTube doesn't care if I stream to both. Twitch does if you want to be affiliate and start to have people be able to subscribe to you and stuff. So, Kramer just got the blue screen of death. That sucks. What is in the back? Well, apparently Captain Bonanza Man's hiding in one of the cargo pallets with his lawnmower. So there's that apparently. Beyond that, try not to ask too many questions. Anti-I is not required today. Recall is checked. Just got TCAS off because I don't have TARA set yet. We'll do that in a moment. Auto brake is set to RTO. Flight controls, we got to check those real quick. So we got 2 up, 1 down. 2 up, 1 down. 2 down. There it goes. 2 up. That's a CH yoke thing. Just got to beat it a little bit. And then full left, and neutral, full right, Neutral. All right. I'm flying, so no one in the wheel. Well, hopefully. I'll help you make a Twitch guy. Yeah, yeah. So you can go over there. You can go over there and actually hit the follow button while we're streaming today, even though I'm not actually streaming to Twitch right now. If you find me, it's twitch.tv/Mustafa, and then I'll get notified that you followed me, so I'll know. So I can give you feedback and let you know, yeah, you subscribed to the right account. If you want to do that while we're doing this today.
I'm gonna put you on Twitch while we're streaming today.
All right. Ground equipment is clear now, and we are gonna release park and brake, and we're gonna start moving. So here we go.
Yeah, right behind you, Moose.
Copy that. Oh, still brakes not be stupid. All right, there we go. And we are rolling.
What did you choose as a final today?
It's gave me, if I can talk, it gave me 330.
Okay, I'm down at 290.
Got it. You can try, David. I don't know if you have the ability to do that or not, but try it and see. If not, I'll put it in the chat. Just try it before I take off, so I'll know. NightBot may smack you down, so just let me know if he does. Nope, okay. Captain Bonanza Man is followed on Twitch, so he figured it out. Well done. After I make this turn, I'll put it in the chat there. Okay. Coming around.
Yeah, speaking of lawnmowers, you're taxiing down through the lawn on X-Plane.
I love competing sim scenery. It's great. All right, so here's the. I'm trying to yell at you people. Twitch.tv/Mustafa. Make sure I spelled it right. Yeah, there we go. There it is, Sour Grapes in the chat.
You're using default scenery, aren't you there, Moose?
Yeah. And then just a friendly reminder to all our friends on TeamSpeak, make sure you are using push to talk, not the detect voice, because what'll happen is it can detect my voice coming through and act hears me twice, and it sounds really weird. So just make sure you're on push to talk. All right.
Can I do that?
Well, it also will happen if you key your mic right when I'm starting to talk too, so that's sometimes the issue, and that can't really be avoided, but I just want to make sure it's because of that and not because you're not using push talk. So.
You got no fires around you, do you?
Yeah, I'm basically just taking up smoking as a hobby now without actually having to do anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading.
All right, we're taking to the runway. Whoops, I didn't mean to hit that. I just tested the TCAS again. Landing lights coming on and strobes coming on. TCAS test passed again, so that's good. Alrighty. LNAV, VNAV armed. Here we go. How much do I need to get that Boeing 777? Well, whatever it costs. It's the P3D version, so. I do have some. I have to look and see what I've got though, because I need to buy some other things too.
V1.
So we'll see what's left. V1.
Rotate.
Yeah, there's rotate. gear up. And Briangren got himself followed on Twitch there, so good job, you.
Is anyone still hiding in the wheel well?
No. No, Rothmuller's doing his own flight today, so we cleared those people out. Yeah, you did it correctly, Brian. Good job.
Let me know when you're passing through, too.
We just passed through too, so you're good to go.
Thank you.
I also would want to let you know I am behind the cockpit door now.
Got it. Caution wake turbulence, Tim.
No kidding.
Someday, David. Someday. Flying seat to it. Alright, I got my TCAS on, so I'll try to avoid you. I don't see you yet. Flaps coming up, gear coming off. Oh, we got that hard altitude of 6,000 at Bawal. To bust our speeds here. Oh, you're going opposite direction, okay. Alright, 1,000 to go. Strike foil, how's it going? Flying into a cloud here. Alright, we got about 10 miles to Bawal. We're at 6,000, so we're just going to hold this altitude. And then we can climb up to, I think it was 11. Was it? Pull up the chart here.
Can we fly through storms today?
Not really. Probably just clouds. The storms were all in Florida, so these are just fluffy at the moment. This isn't really storm clouds. We're cruising at 11,000. Okay, we'll be climbing through 11,000 here in just a little bit, but we're not quite there yet. Next at CODOT we got to be at 11,000. That's our next restriction. Captain Cap, how's it going? I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well too. We're just taking off out of Bali. Hand flying at the moment. Got a 6,000 foot altitude restriction here that we're coming up on. In fact, I should do this. There we go.
What's the transition altitude? 1,000?
Yeah, 1,000. Not that there'll be a huge difference considering we're going from 1012 to 1013. Alright, now we can start climbing up to 11 for the next restriction as we turn to CODOT. Thank you, David, for the public service announcement there. He is correct. Yeah, and if you're not sure about getting onto Twitch, I will still be obviously alerting you guys via social media, the Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook posts, and they will have the link to the actual account there when I'm gonna be streaming. So you'll have that information that way as well. So it's not like today's your last day to figure it out, or you'll never find me. Unless you're not subscribed on my social media stuff. So all you need is one of those accounts. I just post the same stuff to all of them, so you don't need to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I mean, you can, but it's not necessary because I just post the same things to all three. It's basically so if someone has one or the other, they don't miss out because they only have a certain platform. All right, coming up on 11,000 feet here, and we'll hold that till CODOT. Landing lights are off. Oh, that's right. As we accelerate now as well, I'm going to leave it in mode until we pass 11,000 feet.
I just had my first failure.
What failed?
Tail skid.
Oh. Interesting. And Sour G Twitch, thanks for the follow. I think I know who you are. I think that's the Sour Grapes. So good job, you found it. Well done. Did you see a picture of the, someone posted on Twitter, I think it was in the 7.5, the flight factor, they like spun the baro dial around too much or something, and it, or no, it was the VOR radio, and the knob like popped out, like hanging off the spring.
Yeah, I've seen, they've got a few of those that are just quite funny if you do it right.
I thought that was great. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Actually make the button fail. That's great. Clever.
Yeah, the problem with the tail skid hanging down is it gives you a 12% fuel burn increase.
Yeah.
I have no reason to know why I remember that number.
That's. I'm impressed you did remember that number. That's. All right, climbing up now out of CODOT, and Spooky's pants, Spooky Zeke pants, or something like that. I'm trying to look quickly while I'm flying. Thank you for the follow. We got that all taken care of there. We're gonna switch to standard now for the barometric pressure. Rufus 008, good to see you, man. Yeah, just a little bit late. We just departed out of Bali. You're not too far behind.
If you're wondering, the other one I mentioned before, that was me.
Oh, okay. Was sour grapes?
Nah, the spooky one.
Oh, that one. How do you pronounce that, by the way?
I don't even want to bother. That was just an old name, and you know how Twitch fares.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay if you don't use Twitter. Like I said, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. So if you're on any of those, FlyingMoose83 is the handle for any of those. So, and then you'll be good. Trim this thing up here a little bit.
I was going to ask you if I could put WWA1990 at the end of my name.
No, you cannot. Because that will just confuse people. Alright, autopilot engaged. as we pass 15,000 feet. We're all cleaned up. And islands of Southeast Asia down here. Pacific Southwest, I guess, actually. Pacific.
Are we gonna stop in Japan at any point?
Yes, we are. We're gonna. The plan is to head down to Australia. We're gonna do some bombing around in Australia. We're gonna head over to New Zealand, go back to Australia, up to Papua New Guinea. Head over toward. We need to make a stop over in Singapore, Hong Kong, Beijing, Shanghai, South Korea, and then our last stop on our Asia tour is going to be Tokyo. And then from Tokyo, I believe we're going to head across to Hawaii. And from Hawaii, we head home to Los Angeles.
And it'll be Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be home for Christmas.
How long have we been doing the World War?
Good question. We started... Where did we start? It started when we crossed the pond back in... I think that was somewhere over last summer. And we did a whole bunch of... We crossed the pond and just did a whole... It kind of was like a Euro tour. And we just did a whole bunch of stuff in Europe. And then at a certain point, I kind of decided, well, why don't we just keep going east and we'll just circumvent. So it started with just hanging out in Europe a whole bunch, and then we slowly started to make our way like we are now. And we kind of officially started calling it was called the Euro Tour until we left Europe, and then I redubbed it the World Tour at that point. So if that makes any sense.
Did we ever go to Moscow?
We did do Moscow, yeah. Yeah, Sour Grapes, I actually am planning on putting together a Discord server, not necessarily for the audio portion of it. I'm probably going to keep using TeamSpeak for the talking, but it's a great kind of basically almost like a forum for just my channels. I've been kind of looking at that as John Fly's got one. I was looking at Puck Vanix and some other people. So yeah, I will be doing that probably not till after I move will I have time to actually sit down and mess with that and set that up. But yeah, that is the plan to get that set up and going.
I'm just leveling flight level 90.
Flight level what?
290.
Oh, 290. Ah, you climbed up there quick. What? You had a different departure than me, though, right?
Affirmative.
Yeah, that's why. I had a bunch of stupid altitude restrictions.
Do we have any paint for sniffing or drinking?
Sour grapes, no, don't make it for me. I'm gonna make it myself because there's certain things I want to set up certain ways. So don't bother doing that. I'll take care of it. But just know it is coming, and then I'll let you know what it is. So, what was your question there, Bonanza?
Do we have any paint for sniffing or drinking?
No. No, we don't do that sort of thing on my planes. I don't need some paint-sniffing crazed person charging the cockpit with their lawnmower, trying to take over the plane and pull a SeaTac.
I brought my gas and oil. Can I please start my lawnmower?
You brought your what? Oil?
My gas and my oil.
No. You said it was a push mower. You don't need gas or oil.
Well, I lied just to be able to bring it on the planes.
Uh-huh. Kevin W. How's it going, sir? Welcome back. Nothing wrong with paint sniffing. Have we passed our... Yeah, we're in course to Wallet. Okay, so we can go up to our cruise altitude now. 330.
When you make a Discord, what kind of servers are you going to have? Like chat for just live streams or just one chat room?
No, it's gonna be. It's not primarily gonna be for. Like I said, for the talking part of it, like what we're doing now. We'll still use TeamSpeak for that. The Discord will be like a forum / chat room kind of a thing for primarily for when I'm not streaming, so people can talk. I mean, it'll obviously be able during my streams as well, but excuse me. But that way, it's easier. I mean, there's not really a good way, especially on Twitch, to you can't to post comments and stuff on videos and things like you can on YouTube. This is a good way to communicate and ask questions without having to go through necessary social media. A lot of people can just see it over time, so there's some cool little advantages to using the Discord server for stuff like that. And it's free, so, you know, there's that too. All right, once we pass Wallet here, we'll be going to Gabbett, and then on our flight plan. Go ahead.
I changed my nickname.
Oh, yeah, okay, so I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to need you to change that on ours, because the WestWind TeamSpeak server is, you're not supposed to have a WestWind call sign unless you actually are a member of WestWind. So that will get you banned. So I would suggest you change that now. Looking at we're a ways out, but I'm going to look at the Darwin star here, which is the Donia 7 uniform, I believe. Take a look at what that entails. I see whoever did the charts for Darwin decided people didn't understand nomenclature, so they actually had to write at or below, at or above, max. That's funny. Will East Wind get you banned? I don't know. That'll be a Mark call. We do a program, or at least we have in the past, called Operation East Wind. That was like a special event that we hosted for a while. I don't know if we're doing it again this year because I don't know who's running it right now. We had some turnaround in our events planner guys, so.
Can I book a flight with you guys on WestWind?
I don't know. Well, you can in your mind. I don't know how you would on the website. Matthew Eisenhower, hey, how you doing? I'm doing very well. My day's going well. It's hot and smoky here in Fresno because of the fires that are raging in the mountains. You know, off in the distance. So, but it's all collecting. All the smoke's collecting here in the valley, so that's fun. So, but otherwise, the day's going pretty well. Fart Loops, good to see you. Welcome back to the stream. And Encrypted Pilot, how you doing? So, for those of you that are just joining the YouTube here, I just want to kind of make the same service announcement I made yesterday and earlier today. This will be my last live stream flight on YouTube. As I've reached affiliate status on Twitch, which means I can no longer stream to both. So I will be streaming my flights exclusively on Twitch starting next week. And so if you don't already have a Twitch account, I would urge you to go get one and follow my Twitch channel, Mustafa. So that way you can watch the live streams. The live stream flights will be posted on YouTube after the fact, but they won't be streamed live on YouTube anymore. I probably will stream things like Truck Simulator and non-flying stuff on YouTube occasionally, but the lion's share of the streams will now be done on Twitch itself. At least initially. We'll see how that goes, and then we may backpedal. Who knows? Yeah, I heard the smoke is it's reaching New York. Some of it's hit the jet stream and is they're actually getting reports of some of the smoke from the California fires all the way as far as the East Coast. So, which happened last year too, apparently. So, yeah, I'll put the link in the chat here again. I did earlier. It's going to be twitch.tv/Mustafa. There you go. So a little different name there, just because the Flying Moose apparently was taken by somebody already by the time I signed up for my Twitch account. So it is what it is. So I still urge you guys on the YouTube side of it to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Like I said, the content will still be posted here on YouTube. It just won't be live streamed. But I would appreciate your subscriptions and the likes, at least on the videos, as well. You think you're under an air quality alert? We were told on Monday, but our air, I wish I should have taken a picture. Our air, our horizon looked like we were in Beijing. We were basically told that just breathing outside was the equivalent of smoking 7 cigarettes. So, yeah, talk about air alert. Really? Yeah.
Are California wildfires fun?
Sorry, what was that? Are California wildfires what?
Are they fun?
They're not. There's nothing fun about them. They are destructive, terrifying. We've lost several firefighters now. This year to the fires, so that's not good. There's a few people have died. In fact, one was a grandmother and her 2 grandkids. They found her huddled over there by the thing swept in so fast that they didn't have time to even get out of the house, and they all died in the fire. They're scary. I mean, you look at some of these pictures of these communities, and it's nothing to laugh at. I mean, it's terrifying, and these things get going. And the problem is, once the fires get going, they create so much heat that it creates its own weather, and so you end up with these 50-mile-an-hour winds and these tornadoes of flame that are just ripping through these areas and just destroying everything. I mean, you look at these communities after a fire's gone through, and it looks like after Hiroshima. I mean, it's just everything is leveled and gone and black and burnt. It's bad. So.
Can we rename the California from the Golden State to the Fire State?
No, because I think that'll just give liberals an excuse to complain about something. So I don't want to hear them whine any more than they already do. You were on last night for a squadron event, huh, Encrypted? That's cool. Yeah, you guys get a lot of rain over there in the UK. It's kind of like, if we want to get that, we go up to Seattle where it rains all the time. So, same kind of thing over there. S3RP3NTO is followed on Twitch. If there's a way I'm supposed to pronounce that, it looks like Serpento, maybe? If I'm pronouncing numbers as letters. So I don't know if that's, I'm assuming that's one of you guys. So if there's a way you want me to pronounce that, let me know. Yeah, definitely, Matthew. Yeah, you gotta those guys that are rushing into those forests with that stuff raging. Yeah, you gotta be a special kind of person to be able to do that. And so, oh, that was you, Matthew. Okay, nice.
I just realized the first top half of your description is accurate, but the second half just says yesterday's flight.
What? I changed both. What the heck? Stupid YouTube. Hang on.
Don't call YouTube stupid.
Well, it is if it doesn't update when I tell it to, so.
It has feelings.
No, it does not. Oh, I didn't know. Okay, I thought I deleted it all up to the subscribe and like. Okay, well, I can change that real quick. That I can fix. Visual Studio. Swimming. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Okay, that should update in a little bit. It'll take a moment to refresh, I'm sure, but eventually that'll update. Thank you for that. You're off to play in dirt more? Alright, well, you have fun with that, Encrypted. How did you get into flying in simulation? Okay, so this goes back a ways. So I was in junior high, and to give you some perspective on that, I'm 35 now. So we're talking about 16, 17 years ago, something like that, give or take. I got into simulation. I found a game for the computer, and it was called A10 Warthog, or A10 Cuba. That's what it was, A10 Cuba, and it was the first flight simulator I ever touched. I didn't know about Microsoft Flight Simulator at that point. It just this A10 Cuba game. The graphics were, 17 years ago, the graphics were what they are. I mean, they weren't that great. It was very polygonish. But you could not only fly the, let's see, what was it? You could do, maybe that was an expansion. You were at Guantanamo Bay, was where you were based out of. There was one that dealt with Hawaii too, and I'm trying to remember what that was. But anyway, you could, you fly your A-10 around and bomb things and whatever. That was pretty cool. I was more enamored with the flying part of it when I was doing it, and then I discovered you could actually kind of tell these big C5s that were like AI stuff. You could map them out and give them routes and stuff like that. And so I was doing some things with that. You could actually get in and fly some of these things. So. It might have been an F-18 game after the A-10 one that I'm thinking of that dealt with Hawaii. But it was like those two kind of really got me into flight simulation. And then I discovered Microsoft Flight Simulator. Really, 98 is when I really got into Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I've been into flight sim ever since. It got me into aviation. I got really into airplanes and learned about how they work and what it takes to fly them. And I've got a number of those just planes videos, like for example, these cockpit videos. This is the Cougar 727-200, which is actually a passenger 727 that flew around in Europe. Doesn't fly anymore, but I've got a whole bunch of these that I bought over the years, and so watching those and watching what the actual pilots do. Has kind of allowed me to learn what different things are and what the flows are a little bit, and studying stuff. So, but I've been into it ever since. And I joined back in high school. I joined a virtual airline called Gateway Virtual Airlines. Worked with them up until I was basically Cat 3 rated, which was the 727, 737 areas. And then I kind of dropped out of that. Didn't do it for a while, and just kind of got out of the virtual airline scene. I would just fly around and do things when I wanted to. And then in 2007, in December 2007, I was actually down in Arizona with my family for Christmas and hanging out. And I was perusing some stuff, and I found WestWind, and I kind of got bit by the bug again for virtual airline stuff. And I started perusing their stuff and basically made all my preparations to join them as soon as I got back to do the flight sim stuff. So I've been with them ever since end of 2007, beginning of 2008. And so just hit my 10-year anniversary this last December. This last December, yeah. 27th, I think, is my hire date. And been with them ever since. I've been on staff with WestWind since very early on. Once I got to Cat 2, I think I became assistant hub manager for LAX. Was there for a while. Took the hub manager job at Dulles, because I was waiting for the LAX one to open up, and it never was. And then I was a hub manager for Dulles for a while, and then the hub manager job opened up at Los Angeles. I took that. I got hired as the VP of IT, managing the website, and eventually got started doing aircraft painting. Everyone thought I was really good at that, so they made me the vice president of aircraft and made someone else the VP of IT, and I've been doing that ever since. And then just recently I gave up the hub manager at LA, and so I'm just the aircraft VP now. So yeah, it's been a long circle. And I was actually approached to see if I was interested in taking over as president CEO when Mike Gibbs stepped down, who was the last guy that Mark Kusiak actually replaced. But at the time and where I was and what I was doing this last year, I didn't feel that was the right time to take that on. So I deferred to Mark. So. Yes.
May you unlock cockpit door so I can come in with my lawnmower?
No, you are not allowed in the cockpit with your lawnmower. Any tips for a newbie that has no idea about planes? So, yeah, if you're new to this, well, first of all, my first question would be, do you have one of these flight simulators, whether it's FSX, P3D, or X-Plane? And it kind of depends on which one you have as to what I would suggest. But if you're new to this and you don't know, there's the nice thing about, in our world nowadays, we have this great thing called the internet that allows you to basically absorb as much information as you can handle. Not all of it's always correct, so you have to kind of check your sources and things. But when it comes to flying in the flight simulators and how-tos and how to get the plane started up and tips for good landings and good takeoffs and stuff like that, there are YouTube videos aplenty out there, and that would be my initial suggestion, is to soak up as much info as you can, get in your sim and just try stuff. You're gonna crash occasionally, but you're gonna get better. When I first started Flight Simulator, I didn't have a yoke or anything. I was flying with the keyboard. Let me tell you, that's hard. There are some guys that have gotten really good at it, and I don't think I ever got really good at it. I got okay with it. So I would, in order to land, I would have to, I had to learn how the auto land stuff worked and the ILSs, because they were just almost impossible to land with the keyboard. Once I got the yoke, then I could start turning that stuff off and doing it manually. But yeah, it's just a matter of start small. Start with the small aircraft, the little Cessnas, the Barons, the stuff like that, and get the basics of flying down before you move into the heavies like this guy. Because at the end of the day, this is still just an airplane. It flies just like any other airplane does. There's just a whole bunch of systems you have to manage as well. So if you're not sure about how to fly the aircraft, start with that first. Make sure you know how to fly an aircraft, and then go down the road of systems and programming and all that stuff, because otherwise you're just trying to do too much at once. I mean, you're going to miss the forest for the trees. Christy, I never crash. You say that now.
Hey Moose, I finally made it.
Hey Kramer, you finally figured out how to get back in here. You said you had to update your TeamSpeak?
Yeah, I just hadn't been on it for a while, and there was no update out.
Oh. Well, there was an update. I mean, it's been yelling at me to update for months, and I've never done it. I'm just waiting for it to not work. But it still works for me, so I don't know what's up with that, but who knows. Yeah, you can just talk, guys, remember?
Tell me when you're ready for more chemistry facts.
I don't know if I'm ever going to be ready. Life does not prepare you for things. Start small. I'm the guy who goes for the subwards. All right. Yeah, you and a lot of people. You're not the only one. A lot of people just try and jump into the biggest thing. It's a cool plan. I'm just going to do it, and then they give up because it's so overwhelming to figure out what all this stuff does. But but it's not overwhelming, and in fact, it's not scary at all once you understand what, some of these switches and knobs do. It's like jumping into, if you're used to driving your car, you have, maybe a shift lever, and you've got a speedometer, maybe a tachometer, and a fuel gauge and a coolant gauge. You got so little stuff in your car, and you jump into the space shuttle, and someone says, "All right, figure it out," and you're going, "Huh?" But if you've worked your way up to that and you get in there, it's not overwhelming anymore because you understand what a lot of those things are, and it's just learning the little bits and pieces that you don't know. So there's a reason why when people are learning to fly, almost all pilots start in something, very small, and you learn the basics first, and then you learn the systems and the bigger, and you graduate to bigger and more complex aircraft as you go. It's an interesting geographical thing coming up here. I'm seeing out the window. I'm not sure if that's a ridge or if it's a graphical error or if we got ourselves another trench, but it's definitely a hard cut right across the island right here. I'm very curious what I'm looking at there. Interesting.
I was gonna tell you at Oshkosh when I went, they
Uh-huh.
had a C. They actually brought in a C5, and they brought in two other planes. I forget what they were. One was a KC-135, and then the other was like a DC-10 or something.
So it's probably the KC-10, which is the military refueler version of the DC-10 MD-11, basically. The KC-135 is the refueler version for the military of a 707, basically. Obviously redone to be a refueler, and cockpit's redone to be military, whatever. In fact, we just had a KC-10 takeoff out of here on Thursday. I just got outside from my office I was going somewhere to run some errands, I think, and it was taking off right out of the airport right there. So I was like, ooh, stop and watch that. That was pretty cool. There was a KC-10 here doing touch-and-goes actually a few weeks ago, which was pretty cool. But yeah, they're big aircrafts. I love the C5s though. Those things are so cool to watch. They're just so huge. They used to fly into here every so often. I haven't seen one here in quite a while now, but we used to get them every so often with regard to the Air National Guard base. I don't know what they were doing here, but you always knew when they were coming. I mean, they have an engine sound like no other. I do actually have a favorite aircraft there, Matthew, and this is it. The 747 is my all-time favorite, but I like that you gave me three because I do actually have three that are right up there that I actually really enjoy. The 747 is my favorite. Second favorite is going to probably be the 727, and that is because of some experiences I had in junior high school actually, with the FedEx 727 that would park here all the time. And the maintenance guy there let us crawl around the aircraft and do the maintenance inspections with him and stuff like that. So I really have a fond place in my heart for the 7.2. And then the third one would be the 757. It's just it's always been a neat airplane to me. It's big, but it's not super big, and it's got power. Yeah, this thing is thing's a rocket, especially if it's not completely loaded down. Yeah, this is an interesting ridge cut going on here. It looks like an elevation correction all of a sudden. Yeah, check this out. This is interesting. It's not really a trench, it's just a giant shelf. It's like the land on this side just all of a sudden jumps down by 100 feet or more.
Are there books on the shelf?
No, not that kind of shelf. Just a shelf, not a bookshelf. You fly the X-Wing series in flight sims. Yeah, 747 is a classic. It's sad seeing them get phased out. I mean, I understand why, but it's it's sad. We got a couple little weird spire deals going on here, which I think are geography errors in the sim. That's a serious wall right there.
Moose, when do you think that you'll fly the Dash 8 version of the 7.4?
Well, it hasn't been released by PMDG that I'm aware of, right? It's in beta, I believe. So not until I'm not on the beta team. So until it gets released to the public, I will not have it. I can tell you, I will get it when it comes out. That will be for sure. But we're at the mercy of PMDG whenever they release stuff. So we just don't know. King Poet, how's it going?
We're taking a trip to India at the end of the year, and we're going on a 747 but an A380.
You say you're going to India?
Yes,
When are you doing that?
the end of the year.
Oh, that's cool. You say you're taking a 747 or an A380 or both? Or
Both.
so were you flying out of O'Hare?
Yeah.
So O'Hare to where initially?
Frankfurt, then from Frankfurt to Delhi, and then another smaller thing from Delhi to Mumbai.
So I assume you're flying Lufthansa?
Yeah.
So it'll probably be a 748 on Lufthansa because I think they've gotten rid of all their 744s. And then the A380 obviously to Delhi. You said your final stop is Mumbai?
Yeah, then Mumbai, then a 3-hour car drive to a small city.
Oh, okay. You guys like know people over there? Like a missions trip? Like what's going on? What's going on?
What?
What's the purpose for going to India? Is it just vacation or?
Just vacation or?
My parents are from India. We go to see family and friends and stuff.
Okay, all right. So now your YouTube name's making more sense now. Okay, gotcha. Well, that's cool. So were you actually born here or born in India?
Born here.
Okay.
What's our ETA?
Our ETA is pull it up here. We're 662 miles to go. ETA is 0505, and it's 5:36. So we're looking at about an hour and a half.
That short?
Well, it was only the total flight today was right around 900 something miles. It was just under 1,000 basically, and airtime was scheduled to be about 2 hours and 15 minutes roughly. So, Matthew, yes, I actually do some flights into Minneapolis, St. Paul, because I have really nice scenery for it. Flightbeam came out with their Minneapolis scenery several months back, and it is gorgeous. And I actually flew into last year in June. I actually flew through Minneapolis twice for going to Flight Sim Con in Connecticut. So I was at the airport. So I'm familiar with it to an extent as well, and it's very good scenery. It's very cool. So we have done a few flights into Minneapolis. In fact, next Friday we're going to be flying the Jaguar 7.4 into Minneapolis from Jacksonville because my Jags are playing the the Minnesota Vikings in the preseason game on that next Saturday. So we'll actually be doing that flight into MSP next week.
Wasn't someone here yesterday rooting for the Vikings?
Someone was. I don't remember who. It's pretty cool. Actually, Matthew, if you want to go check out you can see some cool screenshots of it. If you go to Flightbeam, I think it's just flightbeam.com. I'm going to check and make sure I'm giving you that right. Yeah. Oh no, it's not. Don't. Hang on. Don't go there. That's wrong. It might be Flightbeam Studios. Flightbeam.net, sorry. Flightbeam.net. Flightbeam.net. Bravo, Echo, Alpha, Mike.net. You can check out, they've got a few. They've got San Francisco, they've got Minneapolis, Phoenix, and is it Dulles? And there's another one. Oh, and Denver. And they're working on Portland, apparently, and then they're also working on 2 in New Zealand, Wellington and Auckland. I think the Auckland one's getting a little bit more delayed because of some construction at the actual airport. They're trying to figure out what it's supposed to look like when it's all done. So I think Wellington's...
Wasn't one of their early efforts Detroit?
I don't know. If it is, I haven't seen anything about it. But I don't know. I think someone recently did Detroit, I thought. It maybe been FS Dream Team. Someone...
No, it's not FS Dream Team.
Okay, I thought I saw something about Detroit from somebody. Detroit. Let's see here. That's not recent. There's that. Maybe not. Maybe it was a news item that someone was going to be working on it or something. And I saw from Frugal or something. I don't remember. I could have sworn I heard something about Detroit scenery-wise recently, but I don't remember in what way. We'll see about that, Matthew. And if they do, it's preseason. It doesn't matter. All I care about is what happens in the regular season. King Poet, what Kool-Aid are you drinking? The Browns don't know how to have a decent season. Actually, a decent season for the Browns is just winning at least one game. That's that's pretty much the equivalent of a decent season for the Browns. What, Kramer? Yeah, Chris D, the reason why I'm not streaming with the 80 that much is because I want to get it repainted for WestWind. And right now I'm having trouble finding time to do anything but the streams and then the moving stuff. So it's just a lot of stuff standing in the way. And I've got to get Chris's Braniff thing painted before I do anything else. So you got the blue screen of death again. What are you doing? I'll tell you what, my computer updated last night against my wishes. So I'm kind of amazed that everything's working so far. So, knock on wood. Yeah, it's very detailed, and it's actually not bad on frames either. A lot of times stuff like that is a killer on frames, but Flightbeam does a really good job of optimizing their scenery, so it really doesn't put too much of a strain on the system, which is good. Heading out over the ocean. Is WestWind a real airline? No, it is not. WestWind is completely fictional. There is a WestWind, I believe it's an executive kind of airport, not airport, but airplane ownership. It's kind of like a flex jet or one of those kind of things, like executive type aircraft somewhere. Because I've seen someone found a while back a reference to WestWind executive or something. So there is a real WestWind something. It's not an airline in the sense that, you know, like an American Airlines, a Delta Airlines, or British Airways or anything like that. But so we just, it's, you know, back in '96 is when WestWind started. It was just, they just came up with a name they liked, they thought it was cool, and created their own. So there's a ton of VAs out there, virtual airlines. A lot of them are modeled on real-world airlines. So there's a virtual Southwest, there's a virtual United, virtual Delta, virtual American. There's actually several virtual Americans that I know of. I think there's a few virtual Uniteds, different, you know, one's Delta virtual, one's virtual Delta, you know, American virtual, American Airlines virtual, virtual American Airlines. So it just depends on, you know, who starts them up and whatever. But there are also several that are completely fictitious, and WestWind is a good example of that. So we don't have a real-world airline we're mimicking. We are completely fictitious. So, which is kind of nice because then there's no expectations from anybody either. It's like, well, the real one does this. Well, the real one does not, because there's no real one of us. So, I saw this morning, actually, I was watching the news. CNN was showing looked like someone's iPhone footage or something, of it zipping around a neighborhood and doing some things. Yeah, Dash 8.
Well, over here in Atlanta, meanwhile, I just ended up landing perfectly on the runway with having a wing view somehow. I've never done this before, so it's kind of a odd thing. Anyhow, time to see if this works.
I'm back again.
Wonderful. You and your blue screen of death. What are you doing anything while you're here? Are you just watching? Like what's running on your computer that might be causing the blue screen?
I don't know. I just had TeamSpeak up, and I was originally watching you also on my computer, but now I'm just watching you on my phone while on TeamSpeak. But it always just says like your state power failure or something like that.
Wait, what power failure?
Like, I think it's like driver state something.
Oh.
Something about the driver.
Interesting. Yeah, next time it blue screens, there's usually a code it'll give you on there that's like it'll be something ridiculously long and weird, like a X0000 something, whatever. Make a note of that and Google that when it comes back up, because you might be able to pin down at least what piece of hardware is faulting. Like it could be a bad memory stick. Hopefully it's not something like embedded on the motherboard, because then you got to replace the whole thing. But yeah, if you're not driving the computer very hard, it's probably not a lack of power supply stuff, unless your power supply is actually failing. But that seems more unlikely. But it hasn't been known to happen.
Yeah, even if there is something wrong, like I said much earlier, I'm probably gonna get myself a new PC or laptop.
Gotcha. Is it a laptop that you're using right now?
Yeah.
Gotcha. What are you rocking there? What are you rocking there?
It's just like a regular Core i5 Dell laptop.
Oh, okay.
Who's using a laptop?
Kramer.
I'm using one too, and I'm just using the MacBook Air.
Yeah, Chris, I saw that Sun Sky, but it's like from 2013. I thought I heard something about something either recently came out or was coming out. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that there is scenery for it existing, but that's from, what is that, 5 years ago now?
Do some people just come here for the Friday stream and then some other Saturday stream?
Yeah, people come for whenever they come. Some people don't. I mean, some people's schedules are such that they can only get here at certain times. Some people have stuff. Like Chris right now is, normally flies with us, but he's in Texas for work, so he's just having a chat. Oh, well, King Poet, thank you for the 99 cents. I'm gonna go get myself a Frosty when they go on sale again for Wendy's. But thank you for the super chat, sir. I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, people come, at all different times. There's some people that are, religiously here at certain days or all the days that I stream, and some people are just kind of in and out as they come, and so it just depends. I mean, that's the thing with, YouTube streaming. It's like television, right? I mean, the television programs air at certain times throughout the week, and people watch them when they can, or they don't watch them sometimes, and they pick them back up, and it just is what it is. So look at the forums. What forums? Whose forums? Oh, if I turn my taxi light on. Not really necessary.
What is a freeze?
What's what?
What the Frosty from Dairy?
Didn't really understand you there.
What is a Frosty from Dairy Queen?
Oh, I don't know about Dairy Queen. I was talking about Wendy's. It's basically an ice cream. It's like it's a cross between a milkshake and an ice cream. It's very thick, but it's not really. It's its own thing, and I don't really know how to describe it other than it's usually chocolate or vanilla. It used to always just be chocolate. Now they have a vanilla option. They're delicious though. It's got a really particular taste to it. It's good. I don't know about Dairy Queen, whatever they have, but I don't think we have. If we have a Dairy Queen in Fresno, there's only one, and it's on the other side of town from me. So I don't go to Dairy Queen very often for that reason.
Can we play the place game again?
Wait, police game?
The guess a place game.
Oh, guess a place? Sure. Matthew, did you make your graphics for the ones they're using currently? Yes. So let me pull up because when I showed up, when I was the IT guy, the website was quite dated looking. So in fact, the whole homepage look right here is completely my design. All of these are me. This is not. This was added just recently. This graphic up here, the banner graphic, and all this was all done by me. I adapted the star to look more 3D. But this, the airline windows look, and that's actually one of the 747. That's me flying a 747 screenshot, and I just cut it out and stuck it there. So, and then you see the star back here behind this. So the whole homepage, they're building a new web page right now, a new website on a .org site that the current IT guy is working on. So I don't know how much of that will translate over, but that was from me doing that a few years ago. Compared to what it looked like before, it's quite a bit nicer than what it was. It was quite dated when I got there, so I figured it needed a bit of a facelift. So yeah, the Wendy's Frosties just when we did fries to it. Yeah, the Wendy's Frosties are good. It's definitely a soft spot in my heart for those. I'm not so much of a fry dipper into Frosties. I've done it, and it's okay. I do love Wendy's fries, but I'm not a dipper. I'm not one of those. I know a lot of people that live by that, but it's just not me. You see my hours I had last month? No, I didn't, but I'm gonna go check now because you said that.
I found a city.
Okay. You're in Atlanta, right?
It's in California.
All right, good. At least geography I'm somewhat familiar with.
Well, a little update from here. A little update from here, basically after taking out my initial FSUIPT.ini file. Apparently still fixed the DSM-4 because now it's actually climbing and maintaining its proper speed this time.
Oh, well, good.
Although I'm going to have to redo a few axes now because I'm having to restart the .ini file that keeps everything, so yeah.
Gotcha. So 137 to looks like 212. So yeah, just under 100 hours. that's pretty good there, Chris, man. So you're talking about the forums in WestWind, I guess is what you're talking about? I actually haven't checked in the last 2 or 3 days or so. Let's see what comes up here. So what's my initial hint there, Bonanza?
Howdy ho there, good neighbors.
Well, if it isn't Kevy Do.
What?
Hey, if you're gonna call me Moosey Poo.
Oh, that's a good point.
Uh-huh. Turnabout's fair play.
So how's the flight coming along?
It's going well. We are cruising here at 32,000 feet. And we've got just about an hour or so left in the flight.
Alright, sounds good.
Heading to Darwin.
Survival of the fittest out there.
That's right. That's right. Start the evolution jokes.
Do you want your first hint?
Well, I need something. There's a lot of cities in California. I'm supposed to start rattling them off?
Pretty close. It's pretty close to pretty close to Sacramento.
Roseville?
And the Golden State Highway.
Must be San Diego.
Yeah. Actually, if you're in the ticket agent in Baltimore, you might think so. We were, I've told this story on here before, but when we were flying, this was back in 2001, we had flown back east to go to New York and Washington, D.C. for a family trip. And we're flying back, and we're flying through St. Louis, and weather was going to delay us in St. Louis overnight. So in Baltimore, they were trying to figure out, what we could do, what our other options were, so we can make it to San Jose that night, which is when our grandparents were supposed to be picking us up. And so we're talking to them, and we're supposed to be flying into San Jose, and the gate agent's like, well, we can get you a flight into San Francisco, and my dad goes, well, that's a 45-minute drive with the peninsula for them. They're elderly, like that's not ideal. And their response was, "Oh, well, we can get you into San Diego." We kind of went, "Well, that's much worse." Kind of had to have okay, have you seen a map of our state? Like, my county is like the size of your state. So let's just get some perspective here.
Yeah, we can fly into Tijuana.
Yeah, right. We can put you into Phoenix. Is that close to San Jose? Yeah.
It's
right there. They're touching.
How about Miami?
Yeah.
How about Beijing?
Beijing, yeah, right. Chimera, if there was an emergency right now, what would you do? Well, it depends on what the emergency was. If I was to lose an engine right now on a 747, it's really not that big of an emergency because I could hobble along on 3 engines just fine. Even 2, I could probably be okay, especially considering I'm not overly heavy. I'm 91 or 92% full as far as cargo goes. We're definitely low on the fuel load. Like, we're only got 60,000 pounds of fuel on board right now. Total capacity, I think, is somewhere around like 300 and some thousand pounds. So for a 747, we're pretty light. So losing 1 or 2 engines wouldn't be an issue. If we flamed out all 4, like we had a fuel leak or something like that, I'd be gliding us over here toward land and looking up an airport we could glide down to and hopefully get down, manually drop the gear and do what we can to try to get down. Start the APU once we get down a little bit lower, hopefully. Actually, technically, according to the manuals, the APU is not supposed to be able to be started in flight. So I don't know if PMDG simulates that appropriately, but you actually don't have APU power on the 747. Again, part of the reason for that is it wasn't deemed necessary because you've got 4 generators on this thing, any one of which can run all the required systems to limp somewhere. So it just
Either
depends
that,
on the
or
things.
he has all of his passengers flap their arms really fast.
Exactly. If you do that really quickly, kind of like an Angels in the Outfield kind of maneuver, then sometimes we can stay aloft.
Physics.
That's right, physics. Physics for the win.
Yeah.
All right, so you said it was near Sacramento, near the Golden State Highway, right?
Yeah, the Golden State Highway passes through it, it looks like.
All right, I'm gonna go check it out. My Golden State Highway at that point, I think is. I'm trying to think if that is still 99 or if 99 has dropped off by that point. My Sacramento geography is not as good because I don't live up there, and I don't really go to Sacramento very often. But stand by.
The way to get into Sacramento from the city is from Highway 5.
That's how you get to virtually any city.
Yeah, right. That's good. Let's see here. Golden State Highway. You said it's near Sacramento?
Yeah, pretty close. Like, it would probably be a half-hour to an hour drive.
North or south? Or east or west, I guess.
South.
Or east,
Yes.
south? All right.
Stockton.
I would say Stockton or Modesto. Maybe Manteca.
It was stopped.
Stockton, all right. Good old
Now
Stockton.
we have to fly the
Good
one.
old Stockton.
My brother-in-law's family is from Manteca, right just south of Stockton, right there.
Manteca. Dun, 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 dun.
Pretty sure Manteca is like Spanish for lard or something.
It's my kind of town.
Hey, Kevin.
Oh no, it's butter, I think.
No, don't start, man. I know what you're gonna ask. Just no.
Or it's lard. Maybe it's lard. I'm trying to remember which one it is.
That's not it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go for it.
Were you the one who was rooting for the Vikings yesterday?
No, not me.
That was said with a quite a bit of repulsiveness.
Well, if Moose doesn't like the Vikings, then I'm rooting for the Vikings.
I feel the love. It is Spanish for lard.
Contrarian.
You're contrarian me. Oh, that's funny. So why is Tim being so quiet today? I don't know. Tim's just being quiet today. He's probably just listening to all the nonsense going on.
Just really have nothing to add today. I mean, everybody else, David's giving us lessons on lawnmowers. I really don't need to chime in on that.
You're not an expert at lawnmowers, Tim?
I am. I just don't feel like I need to show off.
Tim's more of a cut the rug kind of guy.
Yeah.
I have people to
Tim.
do it.
I have people, that's right. He has people for that. Skull Vikings, oh boy.
What kind of planes does Tim fly?
Tim flies 7.5s and 7.6s in the real world. AJ Stellar, how's it going? But he has flown 727, and I believe he did some stint on the 7.4 as well back in his career.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I've flown the 742 and the 4.
There you go.
Awesome.
I want to be a pilot one day and fly the 7.4, but by the time I get there, the 7.4 will probably be completely phased out.
In certain areas, yeah. Probably in the commercial side, yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to go. It'd be cargo that you'd be doing for sure by that point if it's still going there. I have a feeling it's going to stick around the cargo market for quite a while just because of its ability to haul, you know, so much. And the you know, you get the nose load option that it can do and things like that. That certain markets will have an advantage for a long time until something more efficient that can, you know, compete for the same amount of payload comes out.
There's a video in my YouTube suggested list saying why there wouldn't be an Airbus A380 cargo plane.
Well, there probably won't be because it wasn't designed as a freighter. It doesn't make a whole lot of the way that's designed with the full double deck thing. It's a lot of it'd be hard to do that. You'd have to retrofit the decks to be able to hold the cargo load. And I mean, there's just a lot of factors. And the 747, the reason why it made such a great freighter is because it was actually designed to be able to move into the freighter market. Because when it was being designed, the going thought by everybody in the aerospace industry was that subsonic flight was going to be relegated to cargo and everything was going supersonic. So Boeing was designing the SST at the same time it was working on the 747 that it had promised Pan Am. And kind of in the back of our minds go, this thing's not going to be with us very long because this SST stuff is going to take over. So let's make it so it can be a freighter as well. So when that happens, it can do that. Well, it turned out the Concorde, you know, kind of got the shaft because everyone realized, oh, we don't like that sonic boom going over. And it costs so much to run the thing because it eats fuel so much that it just became relegated basically to the transatlantic route. And the 747 became the icon that it did because the SSTs kind of got dropped for the most part, except for the Air France and British Airways.
Does WestWind have a Concorde?
We do, technically. FS Labs made a version of the Concorde, and there's a newer FS Labs version of the Concorde. I don't have that one. I have the older one, which does not work with P3D. It's a cool aircraft, and we do have it in the fleet. You can fly it, but you can't fly it until you reach senior command captain, which I think is like 1,000 hours. So I don't know how much flight it gets. There are a number of people that have that rating, but I don't know how many of them fly the Concorde. So, I mean, the Concorde itself doesn't fly anymore in the real world because of economics. So. But it's a cool aircraft. You talk about a systems-heavy management aircraft. You've really got to manage that aircraft in a number of ways, especially just even knowing when to move fuel around the aircraft to balance it right. So, Tim, Chris D is asking if the 727 is ready for shared cockpit.
Oh, I don't know whether it's ready to go or not.
I know that's the idea is it's supposed to be able to do actually all three, the flight engineer and then the two pilots. Whether that's, you know, working fully right now with its current release or not, we're not sure apparently. So.
Yeah, I just don't know. It's going to be fun to fly if we could get a shared cockpit going between left seat, right seat, and back seat.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Who's the 727 by?
It's FlyJSAM. It's for X-Plane.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
how far behind is the
what?
Is the stream from TeamSpeak?
I don't know because I'm not watching it on this. I'm not watching the stream live. I'm watching it. I have a preview window that shows me on Streamlabs, but that's you know, as I'm seeing it right now, it's live. YouTube, TeamSpeak is basically zero latency for the most part. YouTube's latency depends on a number of factors, so sometimes it can be better than others, but generally speaking, it's probably at its best, probably about 15 seconds behind or so. At its worst, I've seen it, be a few minutes behind, but it just depends. I think it depends on the YouTube servers, how they're handling things, and then also on the Stream PC side, like my internet, how it's handling things. So it's a combination of those things.
And Twitch is pretty much, like less than 5 seconds, I think, right?
Yeah, Twitch has very low latency. There's going to be some, but it's you can get it down very low, which is an advantage of Twitch over YouTube right there.
Hey, Moose, you at 3.3 or 3.5?
3.3.
Okay.
You gonna step up?
I already have.
Oh, where are you at now?
I'm at 3.1 now. Yeah, I burned off fuel.
Gotcha. What's up, Bonanza?
Moose. On the world tour, did we fly into Istanbul?
I think we did as part of the Euro tour, which is the world tour. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. Right there at the Bosporus.
Istanbul, beautiful.
Yeah.
What are the meal options today?
What are the what?
What are the meal options?
The new options? What does that mean?
I think he means meal options.
Oh, meal options. I see. I don't know. I just fly the plane. I'm not in charge of that. As Tim would say, I have people for that.
Is there a chicken and fish version?
Probably, but I don't know. It's kind of a shorter flight today. It's not a passenger flight, so it's cargo. So it's kind of the crew kind of takes care of themselves. There's food in the back in the mini fridge.
I think you're doing deliveries for Lay's potato chips, so you can try checking one of the pallets.
That's true. You can go and raid the thing. Just fill up the bag with air, and no one will know.
Legalities? Yeah, don't worry about legalities.
Yeah, customs doesn't care. As long as they see the pilots are there, they don't care.
What will they say about my lawnmower since it's out of the box and I put gas and oil in it?
It's probably going to be considered a weapon, and you'll probably be hauled off.
Yeah, you'll probably be sent back to your origin.
Can I start it?
No. What on earth is a spaghetti
don't
taco?
Recommend it.
Is that a real thing somewhere, a spaghetti taco? Because that just sounds ridiculous.
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes,
Sadly, it is.
sad.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
who thought that was a good idea? Is that one of those Italian-Mexican fusion restaurants? Is that what that is?
No, it's something, there was like a program on TV, I think, and then it was like, wait, it was a video by BuzzFeed, and this parent basically said yes to her kids for an entire week, and then they wanted that for dinner one day. That's how that came to fruition.
Hopefully
that's why we learned to say no.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hopefully she learned her lesson on that one. Get chocolate cake for breakfast, spaghetti tacos for dinner. Wash it all down with ice cream at every meal.
What's for lunch?
For me, I don't know. We're gonna be landing here soon, so yeah, I don't know. I might go get Doghouse. Actually, that sounds really good. Now that I think about it.
No, get a spaghetti taco and some spaghetti juice.
That would definitely be, and that just sounds disgusting. The spaghetti juice. Like, okay, I can get past spaghetti taco because it's just spaghetti in a taco. Okay, fine. But spaghetti juice, there's certain things that when you say it's juice, like you don't ever dream of drinking that. That's just nasty. I mean, I realize
Like
it's just pasta,
juice?
but tortilla juice. Yeah, is there even going to be juice related to a tortilla?
You guys wonder why I'm quiet.
Yeah, I know, right? See what I have to put up with here?
And meanwhile, I'm just over here trying to make sure that my aircraft's want to work, as of course, as we all know what happened in the previous stream.
Is it working so
Actually,
far?
I don't, but again, I don't care.
Ruthless Tim strikes again.
Yeah, meanwhile, at least it's... Yeah, so that's the reason why I was literally, like, mic muted for like 20 or 30 minutes, because I was, like, literally busy from getting from the gate into the air. With the fact that GSX actually had the audacity to push me back, like, halfway down near the opening of the taxiway and just have me, like, make a full 360.
Oh, I see. Juan is pushing you back too. That's how he takes care of me at LAX. He just pushes me all the way back to the runway.
Oh god, he didn't even bother. He just went like to the midway point, like, you know, like how there's a wide opening at like the international terminal, like heavies. Basically just pushed me like to that midway point, like, you know, like how he usually pushes back to give you a little entry to go through. He's like, nope, you're just gonna have to make a 360 with your nose gear, just, you know. Anyway, I'm just gonna load up in the sim and go up in the sim, pray on God that the same thing works. This time I'm making sure that I don't have my arrow keys set to literally be you know, as on my aileron and elevators, because I just figured that out.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I don't want to screw up the bathroom.
Yeah.
How do you feel about a spaghetti taco with peanut butter?
No, that's that sounds like something that I'm supposed to eat if I'm in a daycare somewhere. And being 35, I do not stoop to that level. Diabetes. If it was spaghetti taco with peanut butter and sugar on top, then yes, definitely diabetes. It's definitely not going to eat it.
8 gallons of paint? What about just 8 gallons of paint?
No, I don't. I'm not going to eat paint.
You don't eat paint, you drink it.
Well, either way, I'm not doing it. You could eat paint if it's cured a bit, then it's going to be more chewy than it is swallowy. Either way,
right. It's like you eat Tide Pods instead of just letting them dissolve.
Oh yeah, people eating the Tide Pods.
Yeah, welcome to our generation.
That's true, Christy. Or Tim, Chris is talking about the the Bubba Lewis soap opera we had last night on Friday Night Ops. You were here for a little bit, but I don't think you were here for that. Bubba Lewis got in the air, and we were chatting. Flying Squirrel was actually running Dallas, Fort Worth Center, and so he was in chat and then also doing that. And we got in there. He took off from somewhere within that span, and I heard Flying Squirrel ask Bubba why he was off course or off his route, and Bubba's response basically was, "I don't even know what my route is."
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was like the funniest thing ever.
It was so bad, and it was just like, dude, what are you doing?
He's drinking.
Literally, unless your ND's broken or something, then I don't know what's up.
Yeah, I don't know what. I think it's more an issue if he filed for a route and then doesn't actually put it in and just takes off and aims his aircraft in the general direction of where he wants to go. I'd guess. I don't know.
Just wish that's heading towards other airport. Yes.
Do we have any paint on the plane for drinking?
No.
Tide Pods for consumption?
Nope.
Why not?
Because this is a millennial stupidity-free zone.
Well, at least he thought that through. Well, at least he thought that one through.
Mm-hmm.
Only the
I'm
finest.
not a millennial.
No, you're not, but it's millennial and below. Free stupidity-free zone. You're Generation Z, I guess, or whatever.
Whereas FA, phonetics, Generation Zulu.
I'm not dignifying it with the FAA phonetics. Hey
What's
guys,
the
work has to be done. God bless. Take care. I'll be home for the flight. Awesome, man, Chris. Yeah, we'll do that next Friday. We'll plan to do the Jacksonville to Minneapolis flight. So we'll see you then. Have fun with the rest of your work. Have a safe trip home. We'll see you then. Thanks for coming along, Chris.
Take care, Chris. Good seeing you again.
Hey, Moo.
Yeah.
What's the FAA?
The Federal Aviation Administration.
Do you have one of those flying license thingies from them?
I do not. Thankfully, you don't need a flying license thingy from them to do this. To do what Tim does, he needs a flying license thingy, and I'm sure he has one. But I do not.
I hope Tim has one.
Thanks for the paycheck.
I also have a question for Tim.
Yeah, right.
See, even Tim gets a better check than the security.
Tim, do you have an ATPL?
Yes, I do.
Is it true that you need 1,500 hours for that?
Is it true what?
That you need 1,500 hours for an ATPL?
Yeah.
Sad.
So you better start pedaling.
That's right.
I don't think you fly a plane by pedaling a bicycle.
Hey, some of the early aircraft attempts started that way.
I just figured he had a paper route of trying to earn his money to get flying lessons.
Oh, there you go. That was my first job, paper route. Back when I was 13.
Tim, how'd you get 1,500 hours?
One at a time.
Just go in the air and come back.
That's true. A takeoff plus a landing.
Join the military, learn discipline.
Yeah. That's a good way to start.
Didn't help with crypto,
I opened
though.
some of the
Well,
pallets, and
can't help everybody.
I opened some of the pallets, and a lot of the cargo is loose in the hold, and it's just sliding around.
Well, stop unpackaging it, looking for your potato chips, and we won't have that problem. Thankfully,
Anybody
I'm
want to bet whether you
hungry.
go 5 minutes without talking?
without what?
Talking?
Probably not.
Didn't think so.
Thankfully, I'm up on the upper deck, so it doesn't matter if the cargo slides around on me. It's not going to come crush me. Now, it might throw off my center of gravity.
Did you ever see that cargo flight in Afghanistan that had the cargo ship?
Oh gosh, the National Airlines one.
Affirmative.
Yeah, that was brutal. I saw the footage of that. That was not cool. Did you see the air disasters or white planes crash or whatever it was on that flight? Like the
Yeah, I did.
they kind of figured out what all went on. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's amazing how the 10 kickers can do that.
Right.
Moose, will you ever make an Air Force One livery for your 7-4?
I'll be back.
All right. I don't know. Probably not. I don't really feel the need to fly around in the Air Force One 747. Plus, that's a that's a 200, not a 400 anyway. So.
If you fly an Air Force One 747 on the VATSIM, just don't. Just save it for FSX Steam Edition's multiplayer.
Right, they're not gonna, and in fact, we're instructed actually as controllers on VATSIM to not give special priority to special certain flights and things, just because anybody can pop up and say they're Air Force One, and anyone can pop up and say they're, you know, special emergency flight or whatever it is. So usually, the VATSIM guys will just say you're gonna be in line like everybody else, or get off the network, because you can't prioritize stuff anyway. So there's not really a point to doing it other than saying you're Air Force One, and yeah, it's not my cup of tea. I don't really care. So. Kramer, you figure anything out? Oh yeah. Man, that computer of yours is eating itself. You get any? You able to get the code that came with the blue screen? We got top of descent coming up here on the ND. Looks like about 150, 140 nautical miles away. Looking at the approach for our Donya 7 uniform, the first altitude restriction is at EPDAM, and that's at or above flight level 130. So we really don't have much of a restriction until a speed restriction, a max of 230 knots at Ducati, which is going to be right as we turn base for the airport. So MSA for the area, 1700 to the north, 3000 to the south. We're going to basically be to the north of the airport for almost the entire time until we're on final, coming into runway 11 at Darwin. Current weather looking like at Darwin is, let me pull it up here, conditions, YPDN. Current weather showing severe clear, winds are 150 at 6 knots, and temperature 20, dew point 13, and QNH 1012. So it's pretty much a standard day with the exception of the winds, but it's a 6 knot wind, so 150. So yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong. Yeah, we're on runway 11. I was looking at backwards. So anyway, it's ENBAB is where our restriction is at or below. So we do actually have a flight restriction at NBAB at or below 14,000, and then it'll be straight in. NASIX will put us on the final approach basically for runway 11. And let me look at the approach chart for that. Driver power state failure. That's a weird one. I've never heard of that before. You might try Googling that and see if other people have had that problem and see what it says. Because that's a goofy one. Look here on plan mode. Where's NBAB? Okay, yeah, we took the wrong. We don't want PDNWD, we want NWE would be more appropriate for what we're doing. So let's fix that for the approach. Whoa. What the? Oh, I see. I see. It's putting us back. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna. Yeah, that'll make more sense. Execute that. There we go. Now it's a straight in thing. Okay. Good deal. That's how we check that stuff, because the way our star was, it didn't really match with the approach, so there we go. Okay. Alright. So we'll go ahead and set here auto brakes 2. The runway that we're going to be taking is runway 11. I'm just going to get some data off of that here real quick. I actually don't know where we're parking because I forgot to look that up. I should check that and see where we can park. Runway 11 is 11,000 feet long, so we got plenty of room to land. Elevation's 96 there. 106 is going to be the runway heading. And it looks like, oops, I would assume, and I got to look at what default airport scenery looks like, but I would think we'd be going to the southern end of the airport for taxiing around taxiway Mike, because there's the terminal, unless that's cargo over there. I don't know that it is. That's general aviation. Yeah. All right, so let me see if I can bring up airport design editor here and see what it says is available here in P3D. This is where it's nice to have this, because I can look at the airports as they exist in the sim, different from, what was that? Something just disconnect? Oh, no, never mind. That's stupid airport design editor. Ah, yeah, we are going south. Okay. So yeah, so we'll take off. We'll land and we'll taxi off probably on Delta. I don't think we're gonna make it in time to Echo 1. Delta seems like it'll make more sense, but we'll take Delta down to looks like Alpha. Yeah. And we'll cross over runway 1836 and get onto Mike, which actually in the sim is Charlie. It's Mike in the real world. Oh no, I guess it is Charlie. It becomes Mike later on for some reason. But it's Charlie all the way in the sim. And we'll take that all the way down, and we'll actually go to cargo parking 12. So yeah, that'll work out nicely. Alrighty. Cargo 12. Alright, good. Well, we know where we're going now. Happy days.
I just wanted to tell Captain Tim I was quiet for 5 minutes.
Hey, you were. That's impressive.
Which approach you doing, the RNAV?
Yeah.
I get to do the VOR.
Oh, look at you. Mr. Slant Alpha.
Didn't you know it?
Uh-huh.
Actually, I think I'm slant whiskey.
Oh, okay. Oh, because you got the INS in there, huh?
A negative. I'm RVSM.
Oh, okay. Let's see. We need to set 11,000 for our. No, we don't. I don't know if that's what it is. Let's check here. Let's transition altitude. Oh, it's 10,000. Okay. 10,000 feet transition altitude. Set that over here. Okay, and for our, what's our minimums? Looks like 334 on the radio. Not that it should be an issue since there's severe clear today. All right. That is set. Missed approach is going to be track direct to the Papa Delta November Whiskey Hotel, then track 106 degrees and climb to 3,000. So basically straight ahead for the most part, climb to 3,000 and then instructions. So we can, yeah, we'll plan to do a left turn if we have to miss after the climb to 3,000, just because the MSA is 3,000 to the south, so we'll keep to the north just to avoid any issues there. PattyTube Vlogs, how's it going? Thank you for that. I appreciate the comment there. All right. And we don't have any that going. That's already set appropriately. Good. All right, top of drop at about 40 miles. Yeah.
Did Captain Tim have a reaction to my announcement?
I didn't hear any reaction, but he may not have been back on frequency then.
Captain Tim generally doesn't listen to you.
Oh.
You hurt my phones.
Hi, do you get a flight plan? Oh, is that how do I get a flight plan? Probably is the question. So I use a online tool called SimBrief, and I'll show you that right now. It is free, so anyone can use it. It's this guy right here. And so you go to simbrief.com, sign up for an account. It's free. You put in your information. So in fact, I'll show you. Let me see here. Open a new tab here. Oh, you know what? It's going to try to cancel my other one when I do that. I don't want to do that yet because I want to leave that up there. But you'd go in here and you would you'd enter all your specifics, your airline registration stuff, your departure, your arrival. You can leave you can put in an alternate, or you can let it put one in for you. Tell it your type of aircraft. It will auto-generate a route for you, or you can put in your own route if you have one. And then you basically generate it. It will tell you how much fuel you need, your time and route. It'll give you a cruising altitude that's appropriate for your direction of flight and your aircraft loadout, weights, and stuff like that. And we'll show you route of flight, and it'll give you a whole big old, flight plan just like this. This is the kind of simplified version up here. It tells you kind of your general specifics, and then your routing, and then all that's down here in a detailed, more true-to-life format, including weather briefing. So you can see down here, don't really have any weather today. Wind maps here and stuff like that. So it's a really cool tool, especially considering it's free. You can donate.
SimBrief is incredible for its detail.
Right.
Because not only do you get the operational side of it, but you also get the current NOTAMs for pretty much every airport that's involved in your center NOTAMs. You can change the formats between real-world airlines, the Delta format, the Lido format, which is Lufthansa, United, Air Canada. I think Air Canada uses Lido, come to think of it. But
I think they do.
It is a beautiful tool that rivals a lot of things that you pay big bucks for in the real world.
Yeah. So it's really cool. This is where I get my routes from, and then it's just a matter of taking this information and plugging it into the aircraft. Kevin, you're right. FlightAware is a great source for finding routes for real world, like what actual airlines are using, because they'll post the routes they're using currently. The cool thing about SimBrief is it actually queries from FlightAware and a number of other sites, and that's where it gets its routes from most of the time. So by using SimBrief, you're actually getting them from FlightAware or somewhere similar. So your routes, if you have current AirAC data, your routes are going to be almost always pretty true to life as what the actual pilots are flying, which is pretty cool.
Also, in a lot of the foreign countries outside the United States, they don't publish the route information, so you gotta kind of take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Using SimBrief.
This is true.
But they still do a great job.
Yes, they do. Yeah, no, it does not matter what SimBrief is not specific to any one simulator. So you can use it with P3D, X-Plane, A10 Cuba. That takes us back to the beginning of this flight. FSX, whatever, Infinite Flight, whatever you're using, if it can deal with route stuff, you can use it because it's not tied in. Now, what it does do, which is also pretty cool, and some people use this more than others. I don't use it to plug into the FMC, but I do use it for my weather engine and stuff. You can say download FMS here, and these are all of the programs that it will actually download flight plan specific files for these programs. So you can download the FMS directly into the Aerosoft Airbus stuff, Aerosoft CRJs, Aerowinds, Avilasoft EFB, that's the electronic flight bag that Avilasoft makes. Captain Sim stuff, Field Air, Flight Factor, FS Commander, FS 2004, FSX P3D, FS Labs, also known as Malware Bus. You can put it into Google Earth and see your route on Google Earth. The iFly stuff, IVAO, all kinds of stuff, PMDG, TFDI, X-Plane. This all allows you to go straight into these programs, and then some other programs will use some of these same file formats into their stuff. So like Project Fly.
Plan G.
Which one?
Plan G.
Plan G, yeah. Project Fly, for instance, I can import a plan file that is FSX P3D generated, or because it uses the same plan file format when I do the export here for FSX, I can import my plan file into Project Fly that way. So it gives you a lot of cool options and things it can do. It works everywhere, yeah, all around the world.
For
And
me,
the great thing is, go ahead. Nope. I guess for me the great thing is the FSX import. So if you have like a default airline, you can actually stay true to the waypoints on the map, even though FSX doesn't have that logged in.
That's true, because it'll just superimpose that into the airplane's GPS, and then you can fly the actual route you're supposed to.
well, honestly, I kind of use like a little mix of FlightAware, SimBrief if I want to do a company route, because pretty much I use PFPX and SimBrief like different times. So if I feel too lazy to actually type it in, I'll just usually just go into SimBrief, copy from FlightAware, and then export as a company route for whichever aircraft I'm going to fly. I'm feeling, up to actually taking a task. Sometimes I use PFPX, same thing, just, the difference is that PFPX, cost.
Well, yeah, and PFPX is basically another version of SimBrief. If you have PFPX, you don't necessarily need SimBrief because you have PFPX. That's a program you can pay for to do flight planning with. SimBrief is pretty much the most robust option out there for free if you don't have something like a PFPX or equivalent. So.
Yeah, because the only thing is that
Keep going. You're hearing yourself.
Alright, so essentially, pretty much because PFPX is kind of limited with how you could export stuff sometimes, like from my Aerosoft CRJ. That's why sometimes I use SimBrief. I know obviously since I have PFPX I should only use PFPX, but I still gather both from obviously FlightAware, import it into there, and then the only reason I mainly tend to use PFPX is because individual weights because Brief, I believe, goes off a general thing in terms of weight and time, so unless you customize it.
Yeah, I go through and customize my fleets in SimBrief, so that way it doesn't give me weights that are over and above what the aircraft I'm taking has. So you just have to do that, because yeah, it's just going off its general information that it has in its database. But you can edit that, so that's what I do. The only thing I don't like, and I thought you could do this before with SimBrief, but I don't see the option there anymore, is that you could tell it how much. I thought you could, but maybe not. Maybe I just was hoping they could. Is tell it how much cargo capacity you can take. You can tell it how many passengers you can take, but you can't specify a cargo capacity. You can only specify a maximum payload capacity. So, in other words, with this aircraft, the maximum payload it can take, if I'm flying a passenger variant of it, if I put it on auto cargo, it may specify a much higher cargo load than I can take because it's assuming I have the cargo deck. When in reality all I have is the underbelly, so I have to kind of go in and say, nope, I'm only taking so much cargo. But otherwise, you can use the auto cargo, and it'll generally keep it within your parameters, which is pretty cool. No, that's clouds. 12 o'clock there, Roger. But yep, this is the land down under. Australia, the continent that tries to kill you.
Takes practice, Patty.
Yeah, it does.
There's a lot of online tutorials that are great.
There are, yeah. I would encourage looking around for some YouTube tutorials on the FMC that you're trying to learn, because Boeing FMCs and even Boeing between certain aircraft models vary a little bit. The Airbus FMCs are a little bit different than the Boeing ones, and then you get the MDs that are somewhere else in their own little land. So just go look for tutorials based on the FMC you're actually trying to learn. They all kind of operate on a very similar principle, but how they work and what information they're looking for and what you need to put in does change a little bit. So, all right, we need to put in our VREF weight. Yeah, what's up?
I was going to tell you, also another thing that happened at Oshkosh was, for some reason, American Airlines brought in a Embraer 175.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So 650. All right, VREF speed is going to be 156. Auto brakes are already set to 2. And pretty soon our speed will start coming back here.
You get a VREF speed of what?
156.
Okay.
That's what it's giving me for. My gross weight is 653. So wait a minute.
Oh, okay, you're heavy. Yeah. I got a VREF of 124.
Actually, that's a good point, because isn't my... Hang on. I wonder if I just put the... Hang on, I might have screwed something up. Stand by. Because that is heavy. That's very heavy, actually.
I'm gonna start my descent.
Fuel weight was 611. All right. Yeah, the other one to look up is, oh shoot, what was it? What is this thing called? Something to sim. Shoot, what is his? I've got it saved. Oops. I've got it bookmarked here. Let me look it up. because he's really good. He's an actual 737 pilot. So is Mentor pilot, but he's an actual 737 pilot that does a lot of recreations in the sim to show you how the procedures work. And he's oh, flight deck to sim. That's it. Yeah, flight deck to sim. The number 2, flight deck number 2 sim. If you're looking for 737 type videos to learn how to do, definitely check him out. He'll go over all kinds of procedures that they use in the real world for the 737 and show you how to do that in the sim. So, really cool.
I do like Mentor Pilot too. That guy's awesome.
Yeah,
he's not really a sim, but real world.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, he is cool.
Kevin, what's that other noise?
It's my TV.
What are you watching?
Man vs. Food.
Tien, we're flying into Darwin, Australia. Yeah, Captain Joe's pretty good too. He's flying for Cargolux now, I believe.
Yeah, he's on Cargolux.
And he's an Airbus A320 pilot?
Well, he was. He's flying the 74 now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for Cargolux, yeah.
Nice day in Darwin. It's winds 150 at 6 knots, ceiling and visibility unlimited. Temperature 20, 2.13, altimeter correction. QNH 1012.
Yep, that's what I got. Transition level is 100.
Let's just hope the weather doesn't evolve.
Ha! I see what you did there. Yeah.
Do you have any Embraer planes on your sim?
I do not.
Would we ever get any?
Maybe. But as of right now, I don't have any. For those of you that are tuning in, make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button. How long till we land? It's about 10 minutes or so. We're just passing through 12,000 feet, or sorry, 13,000 feet right now. And we should be on the ground in about 10 minutes or so, maybe a little less. Make sure you hit that like button, the subscribe button, and then also just be aware, starting next week, I will be streaming exclusively to Twitch. So make sure you go and follow my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Mustafa. That's just like moose, and then add Staffa to it. So MOOSESTAFFA. And then I'll be posting the videos after the fact on YouTube, but they won't be streamed live to YouTube because I can't stream to both. Quiet you. So yeah, so make sure to do that. 30 minutes? No. Yeah, no, not 30 minutes. We're not that far away. Yeah, we're supposed to be on the ground at 500 Zulu, so that's actually in 8 minutes now. So it should all happen pretty quick. I have watched Matt Davies. I watch him occasionally. I don't watch him regularly. He could be interesting to watch. Depends on what he's doing. Thanks, Patty. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I gotta do a 360 out here to lose some altitude, so watch our spacing.
Copy. Spacing. What altitude are you at right now?
I'm at 14,000 for.
Okay, I'm just passing through 10 right now. Landing lights coming on.
Tell you what, why don't you go ahead? I'll follow you in.
Okay, sounds good.
Beautiful day out here.
It is, man. No, the Zebo's a free mod for the default X-Plane 737. Switching over to 1012, current QNH.
Emu,
Yeah.
what's our next destination after, I think we're going to Darwin, right? So what's our next destination?
Wow, the VATSIM map on the East Coast looks like I did last night. Our next one is going to be somewhere over on the west coast of Australia. Sorry, east coast of Australia. I haven't exactly picked yet, so I don't know. It might be Cairns, or it might be like Brisbane or something like that. Maybe, I don't know.
How about Canberra?
Canberra. That's a little farther down. I don't know if we'll go quite that far on the next trip. But we'll see. Tim, I got you
right.
on the fish finder, Tim.
Super busy.
Okay.
Yeah, there must be. I think there's some event going on today. There usually is on Saturday, but it's not usually this early on a Saturday, so I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, they were getting slaughtered out there.
Oh my gosh, Boston.
Yeah, it's nuts over there. I don't know what's going on.
I think they're like running out of space to put them right now.
Oh
It's
my
crazy.
God.
I swear, I'm going to continue on ahead to Boston from Atlanta with the 744 only because, you know, when I add a 747 that you don't see anymore in the U.S. down there now.
Yeah, what is the event going on there?
Is that the SP?
I
Is
really
that
do
what
not
it
know. I actually have to check
Oh,
that
it's-
Tastic right now.
I'm
It's a
looking at-
Boston Tea Party thing, I remember. It's a Boston Tea
Yeah,
Party.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, 19th annual Boston Tea Party Live. Wow. Yeah, they're getting slammed.
Yeah, they're getting killed by everybody.
Getting manhandled over there.
Mm-hmm.
I have to stay on for 7 hours from when it started.
Sheesh.
So yeah, my redemption flight, hopefully I won't have to go into a holding pattern over New York and have to divert to LaGuardia. Oh god. Just thinking about that is gonna give me 717 flashbacks again.
Yeah, that's not good, man. It's basically real world there now.
Yeah, right? Or worse.
LaGuardia, shall I have hold?
Oh my god.
But Boston isn't alone. Like I think the entire East Coast down to Atlanta is filled with ATC.
Well,
For a Tea Party event.
it's more even than the East Coast. It's all the way over to Fort Worth too. It's East Coast and then down along the southern coast all the way to Houston and Fort Worth.
Oh yeah, but technically Florida isn't, as we all know, Florida usually isn't included with these type of things unless it's like from Atlanta, so of course Florida's offline.
Well, only South
Yeah,
Florida.
you know those
Jacksonville's
Floridians.
online.
Those Miami controllers.
Right.
I was out of Fort Lauderdale the other day. They seemed to.
My flight's in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
The keyboard and pad port's unresponsive, and we still have to order a new one, so I can't use it until then.
No, that's
Did
not
Atlanta
good.
Center go offline?
I don't know. I'm not really caring too much because I'm over in Australia.
I'm making the turn inbound now. I should be looping behind you.
Okay.
Oh, Atlanta, so I had to go offline.
I think Boston should just go offline, all of them. See what happens.
That'd be
So
fun.
Atlanta's done, so I guess I can take running 26 left freely.
Figure it out, guys. Figure it out.
Alright, so now that I know I've done such departure.
Yeah, we don't have ATC
Be like
over here today.
Oshkosh.
Yeah, it would be like Oshkosh. James Kerber, how's it going? No, there is
They're
no
supposed to be
ATC on landing
taking which-
today.
Oh wow, the tea party thing is supposed to end in about like 3 hours. They still got another 3 hours to go.
That doesn't surprise me based on the traffic load.
I would not be surprised if they act like Albuquerque at the end and just, you know, give up really because... Of course, I'm honestly myself. Alright, let me just finish setting up this thing real quick. Summer Tune Spa.
Boston's got a pretty good set of controllers, so I bet you they've got it well handled, except for the guys who don't know what they're doing when they're flying.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Like me, I had no idea what I do when I fly. Get there eventually. I mean.
Alright, runway in sight. Taking control.
I'm 25 miles out there, Moose.
Copy that. We're less than 10, so that's good spacing at this point. Flaps coming down 30.
Who's flying
Flaps
into
coming down
Oshkosh?
30. Spoilers set to auto. Why do I fly on Saturdays? Because that's my day off, so I have to have a, I have a job on the other days, so can't really fool around on the days when I've got to actually work. It's called being an adult.
Get you in the far edge of the teach there.
Gotcha. Jeff Hunt, how's it going? Congratulations on your graduation from basic training, man. Landing. Oh, dang, stop. I knew that was going to happen. I can sense it happening. It's trying to go reverse on me. What are you doing? Even felt the engines doing it. Alright. We're down. Could hear the engines like trying to surge, like they were going to do that as soon as I got near the ground. Alright, we will get off here at Echo 1, or whatever this is. So we'll turn here.
Okay, I'm on an 8-mile final.
Copy, we're clearing the runway right now, so you are good to go. And WestWind 1990 is clear the runway. Alright, flaps coming up. Strobes coming off. Click that. There we go. And let's get this coming on. Yeah, I do have charts for the airport. I use Navigraph for all my charts, so it's a subscription. I pay about somewhere between $8 and $10 a month, depending on what the euro's doing against the dollar. And I get basically all the charts for all the airports. Current. Not bumpy so much. That was the. I've got a little goof with my my throttle quadrant that acts up every now and then, and tries to send individual engines into reverse when they're not commanded to. And I had a feeling it was going to do that this time. As I was landing, I'm hearing the engine surge like it's trying to do that, and so I was trying to compensate for it, but I'm not anywhere near the stop, the detent for that. So I don't know what causes it to do that, but so I tried to compensate. Once I landed, it hit engine number, looked like number 3 went into reverse on its own, which tries to yaw the aircraft funny. So I just quickly put all the other ones into reverse as well and compensate with the rudder. So we didn't end up with a situation like we did in O'Hare that time across the pond, thankfully, but it makes for a interesting thing on landing. We can check on here. Landing rate was minus 400, so it's a little hard, but we planted it, so. Got Tim coming in. I see his lights. I'm going to stop probably right before this intersecting runway here just to watch him. And then we'll continue on. In fact, we're going to go to Park 12. I'll go ahead and pull that up now while I'm waiting here. Parking. Looking for 12. Cargo. Nope. And, oh yeah, let's use Cutter Air Cargo. Why not? Alright, we're going to stop here and watch Captain Tim bring his aircraft in. Now it shows him as an MD-80. He's actually flying a 727, but you know, that's just the model matching being stupid. He's coming in. Beautiful. Oop. X-plane has a... Alright. He's on X-plane, so he shows a little different. It looks like he just landed in the grass instead of on the runway. You're runway adjacent in my scenery, so that's awesome. But otherwise, it looked like a good landing.
I've flown offside before.
We just called that, that's the lateral offset landing right there. Alright, our parking is over down here. The APU is running good.
The 727 is amazing to fly, though.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna be getting that. That's on my list.
Still didn't get the TFDI 7-1.
Yeah, that thing's
That's
fun
a good
to
airplane
fly.
too. We got those.
Yeah, that one's a good one. I like that. We need to set up a time here in the near future to do a shared cockpit with that guy.
Oh, did I tell you the conclusion of the funeral saga?
You told me something about the funeral. I'm trying to remember what it was with that.
It was the widow.
Oh.
Well, Bob passed away. He's a good friend of mine.
Oh,
and,
yes, you did. It was like the...
And then the widow's sister died a week later.
And like the dog or something, right? Or a cat or something?
Yeah, and her dog died.
Yeah.
It was not a good
grief.
week.
Yeah, cheapers. It's a country song right there. Yeah. You say something, Bonanza? Alright, we're going to turn here for our parking spot. We'll actually get a marshaller today because he's not hiding in the building, which is nice.
Welcome back.
The problem is I'm connected with my phone, so when I make a phone call, I lose my data connection and it disconnects.
Oh.
Gotcha.
I'll sleep better knowing that.
Alright, there we go. Parking brake set. And we will...
Please restart the engine and turn off the parking brake and push back.
What? No. Alright. Shut down the engines right there. And while that's happening, we're going to go for the cart wheel chock set and request dual GPU plugs. I'm going to release the parking brake now that the chocks are in place, so the brakes can cool down, fuel pumps can come off, beacon can come off, taxi light can come off. We'll leave that on because we have the APU running. We will turn off seatbelt sign, turn off that, turn off GCAS. That's all up and off. Flight directors can go off. Actually turn off the IRSs here. And there's our external power, so we can open up our cargo doors. Request deboarding. Alright, and there we have it. The stairs are coming in. Hey, stop that. Alright. We have arrived. Where's that guy going? Okay. Here in Darwin. And we're going to offload. Like I said, next time we should be flying in the vicinity of the east coast of Australia, heading over that direction. But we made it. One more step around the global tour. We made it to Australia. So, the land down under. They're going to start offloading the aircraft. New continent, that's right. Add that to the list. On the world tour.
I don't think we ever went to...
To what? To India?
To India, right?
I don't know that we did either. I think we kind of... Well, India's not a continent, first of all, but it's a subcontinent. But no, I don't believe we did. We got close to it. We flew over Mumbai at one point. But yeah, I don't think we actually landed in India. I don't think. I'll have to go back and check.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think we did. Yeah, the closest I think we got was the Maldives down at the southern tip of India right there. We landed there. So, do they have any ground crew Oh, they're talking about X-Plane. Yeah, I don't know. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming along. Like I said, next week when we stream, and it'll say this in the social media updates, we will be exclusively on Twitch. So plan accordingly. We won't be streaming on YouTube. We'll be posting the videos on YouTube, but not streaming on YouTube. It'll just be a Twitch. So, and we'll see how that goes. And we may switch back if there are issues, but as of right now, that's what we're going to try doing. So make sure you have a Twitch account and you're ready for that. You can follow me on there. It's Mustafa is the screen name, only because the Flying Moose was taken. So the logos and stuff will all stay the same, but it'll give you a link in the social media stuff for what you need to do for that. So yeah, that's the plan. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, guys. Try to stay cool. If you're in California, try not to breathe the smoke, because that's, you know, all kinds of fun. And I will see you next week. I know there's something going on Wednesday that I have, but actually my program ended, so we'll probably start doing the streams on Thursday night next week anyway, as opposed to Wednesday night. I think we're going to switch back at this point, because I may be required to be at my work on Wednesday night anyway, and the class just finished up this last Thursday, yesterday, 2 days ago. So I don't have that to teach anymore. So, alrighty. All right, have a good one, guys. I will see you next week. Hopefully, as I continue the process of moving and figuring everything out, we'll definitely be flying Friday to get the Jacksonville Jaguars up to Minnesota for that. So.
You take care, Moose, and we'll talk to you hopefully Friday.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys then. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
See you.